Okay, I'll take it from here. So last week we spoke a little bit about props and how when I'm watching movies like Dune, my immediate thought is, oh, yeah, what am I going to 3D print from this bad boy? Um, or buy off Etsy, or buy a replica of and repaint. And so beside me here, I have a few things that I've done that for. But I wanted to talk about, as you can see, my background for audio listeners. It's a wall of swords from Adventure Time, which has some like shout outs to like some pretty classic ones. I
Yeah, like
wanted to
Final
talk
Fantasy.
about, yeah, magic items or props or quote unquote MacGuffins, because we know that's a weighted
Yep.
word.
And we don't
Um,
know how to define it.
yes. So I'm going to hold up. You're talking about Blade Runner 2049. I have this little horse here,
Cool, cool.
10
Yep.
and 6 and 21, 6 and 10 and 21. Uh, for me, this is what goes into a good prop, in that this is something I have and I can hold. But when you sort of get this prop in your hand, and this is like an official replica uh, from the company. I think NECA created this, but they're officially licensed, so they had access to all the props, photographs from set and stuff like that. Uh, and I think if I got this off Etsy, the detailing wouldn't be to that same standard. But I don't know if you can see here at the top. It's probably blurry on camera, and I'm sorry for the audio listeners. Well, what I'm looking at is a horse, but if you look closely on this model, you can see that on its head there used to be a part where a horn would stick out, or a unicorn. So going back to Blade Runner 1982, um, there is a dream sequence in the final cut where Deckard dreams of a unicorn. This is important because we later on see one of the other characters in the movie create an origami, which I also own. I didn't want to bring it here because it's fragile, of a unicorn, sort of implying that, spoilers for Blade Runner if people don't know this, that Deckard is actually a replicant, and his dreams have been implanted into himself, and that's why he dreams of the unicorn. Why that was interesting is because in 2049 we learned that Deckard is the one who actually created this horse, carved it for his daughter. Spoilers. And we can see that this actually used to be a unicorn as well, because it has the horn that ripped off. So for me, this is a super cool prop to get and sort of put that together. Um, but it also sort of symbolic of Joe's character, in that, he's been told his whole life he is this one thing. And then through the movie, he sort of discovers, or thinks he discovers, that he's something else. So, thinking you're a horse actually being the unicorn. And then, that sort of horn gets stripped away from him in a way. He finds out that's not actually true, but he can still be what he wants to be. And again, that scene with Joy, giant Joy coming down, and that's why that scene's so important to me, because that's sort of where he makes that decision. He leaves sort of the illusion behind and continues moving forward with himself and what he thinks he can be. You've probably seen I'm wearing a necklace from a Marvel movie which Luca hates, Black Panther.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa.
just kidding.
I don't need that heat, man.
uh, um, yeah, this one, obviously,
Based.
I just wanted it because it's cool. I own the
Mhm.
helmet as well. Off to the side here, I have some Kamoyo beads, where I can place a phone call and stuff like that. I wish I really could. And then I just have some of Ray's stuff to the side here. These are things I 3D printed, her lightsaber hilt and her gun. And this one's from The Witcher. This is the medallion a Witcher would wear. I'm not sure what that means. Luca, this is
The medallion detects magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It vibrates.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are some things, but I wanted to talk and ask you guys what goes into your appreciation of an item in a story, but also a real world prop. Let's start with you there, Luca.
I think for a prop in a movie, what I appreciate is its realistic look. I think Lord of the Rings did that really well because Viggo Mortensen, the actor who played Aragorn, always carried the real metal sword whenever he filmed. So like when something looks like it has the weight it should, obviously you don't need that in like Star Wars. I'm talking about purely fantasy swords now.
Mhm.
But I think um, sometimes you see those scenes where like the sword it just looks too light. Like I appreciate that subtle detail where like it looks heavy because you can tell when somebody's carrying something that's supposed to be heavy, but it's not actually heavy, and they're trying to act like it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's very hard to pull that off to like make somebody actually believe that you're carrying something heavy. So that's one thing that I love in like a fantasy sword prop. And then aesthetic appeal, like in terms of like what I want to have. I mean, I think I've said this before, like the swords, Aragon's, both of their swords. I personally love anime props. Like again, I'm a sword guy. Like from One Piece, Zoro, he carries 3 swords. He's had 4 in the anime. I want all of them. Yeah, I appreciate good looking props, realistic looking if it's like a live action, and then something unique, like something that's like, for example, the was it Cloud sword that you have behind you in like Final Fantasy, like that's just such like iconic looking weapon, just like something that's, you know, iconic, something that you just want to have because it's so recognizable. I'm trying to think of some examples while Will tells us about his appreciations.
Yes. So I was mentioning earlier before we started recording, but the closest I've ever owned to like a movie prop or replica, I should say, was it was actually like the Rose box from the Da Vinci Code, like the movie slash.
Did you have the whole puzzle in it too?
It wasn't really a puzzle. It was just kind of like this words just spin.
Right, but you had like the thing, like
yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know
like
what
the
it's called.
box and then the codex or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Dan Brown is actually my secret guilty pleasure. I don't really care about plot holes. Yeah. Also, it's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen it probably like 30 times.
Do you prefer Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons?
Da Vinci Code.
What about Inferno? That's one, right?
I actually liked Inferno. The book was kind of strange. It's probably the one I like the least.
Didn't Inferno come out like 10 years after the previous sequel?
Yep.
Yeah.
What was up with that?
I think
don't know.
when did you write the book? Like
2013, 14.
Oh, okay.
I remember like it was the first Dan Brown novel that I struggled to finish. Like I found myself like constantly like lacking interest, I guess. But yeah. Like it's actually actually the other one is actually the septum coin from the Oblivion Collector's Edition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is for some weird reason, because I've moved around quite a bit, just like because of like schooling and stuff like that, but for some reason like I have never lost it. Like, I'll like misplace it, but then it will just like show up randomly.
Your lucky dollar type of thing.
Kind of, yeah. As far as like props, I tend to kind of go more so with like the fantastical side, just for like I'm not really big on like the whole practicality. Like for example, like with the Witcher's medallion, I prefer like the Witcher 3 game version as opposed to
Yeah.
like I guess like the more like flattened shape. Because
Mhm.
like in the Witcher 3, it's like this big,
It's
not
like
very
the actual
big, but
wolf's
it's
head. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
3D wolf's head.
yeah, like it's kind of like a little bit larger and much more intricate, but I just kind of like that version of it. But yeah.
I mean, it's interesting when you see a prop like that where it's like you get multiple interpretations of it.
Yeah, you could even say the same about like Chris knives and Dune, which
Mhm.
I had around here, but I think I've moved. Even the difference between like the mini series, then the original film, and then what we now have, like Denis Villeneuve's sort of interpretation of it. It's interesting to see that that could be described in the book, and 3 different people or multiple different people have a different sort of perception on what that might look like.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's move into swords specifically, because obviously when we're talking about fantasy, we have these sort of iconic pieces like Cloud's I think it's called the Buster Sword here. Obviously right beside that behind me we have the Master Sword. There's some other ones that I recognize but don't know. There's a lightsaber. I think these are Leonardo's
Yep.
Yeah.
called. and then this one from Thundercats. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, do you guys have favorite swords? I think for me, my like if I could own one sword, it might be the Master Sword. Like, and they do sell like a $3,000 like insane detailed replica of it, and I'm like, maybe one day I'll pull the trigger. It's just so perfect. But after that, I'm not sure. I do actually own a sword from an anime, Sword Art Online. I own Asuna's rapier, I think it is,
Okay.
which I broke. It fell and it snapped off the hilt. It was sort of like a cheap replica.
Mhm.
Got actually from an ex-girlfriend. So it's okay that it's broken. Yeah, it
Metaphor.
was like $100. Yeah. What about you guys? If you could own a sword, which
One
one?
sword.
Yeah.
Oh, like one of my first favorite swords of all time was Inuyasha's sword.
Ooh, the Tetsaega.
Yep. Like in the giant demon form, like that was cool.
I'm also a big fan, which you know, because in your D&D campaign, my character had like a version of that.
Yep.
Yeah, a big sword that got small when it was
Oh, so
convenient.
cool. I love that. Oh, that's so tough.
For me, I'd have to say Aragon's sword and Ryu. I don't know if that's
The Flame of the West.
yeah, either that or actually I like Jon Snow's long claw. I actually really love the design for it, like with
Oh yeah, with the
ivory carving and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I prefer like the hand and a half like bastard swords, like not something like too big, but something with enough weight to just like break someone's bones.
Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you want to
Oddly
swing, you want to like cut
Like
someone's arm or
but like
something.
which sword specifically would you want? Like if you
Probably
could have
Aragon's.
a recreation, like yeah, Aragon's sword is cool.
Just classic look.
Ooh, also
Clean.
like
And
I don't
usually
know
I'm
if
not
you
a fan of
guys
minimalism.
minimal. Sorry, what?
Yeah, that's why I like Aragon's sword, just because it's like simple.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and like I will say this, I'm usually not the biggest fan of the whole minimalism thing. So aesthetic look.
Did you read The Hobbit before? Obviously, before the movies came out.
Yeah.
And did you read The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings before the Lord of the Rings movies came out?
No, because
Okay. I was wondering if your visual interpretation changes based off the medium.
Oh, yo, like Aragon's sword is like an Aragon from the book Aragon.
no, like Aragon from Lord of the Rings.
No, I know that's what you meant, but like his sword in the book is like described really cool, like the blue
Yeah.
of his sword, like that is. I remember
Berserker.
that being very cool. His
Yeah,
sword
yeah.
is called.
Berzinger.
Oh,
It's
really?
like it's like the magic ancient language word for fire.
That's one of the
But
names of the books, right?
Yeah, it's book
yeah,
two.
book 3. But
Oh, right, eldest, then Brizinger.
yeah, but it's like kind of cool because it's like an anomaly because he can't say the word anymore. Because if you just say the word Berzinger, which is like his first and favorite spell, but now whenever he says it or like anyone says it around him, his sword catches on fire.
Nice.
So like it's actually kind of funny because like there's several times in the 4th book where he like, especially at the start, where he like displays a lot of like annoyance, I guess, because he has to like, because like the way magic works is chiefly predominantly used through like using the ancient language, so he can no longer just say fire instead of just like throwing a firebolt or something like that. Now he has to like describe it differently, so he's like kind of like, it's kind of like a little bit of a pain now because like instead of just like starting like using flames to like light a candle, he has to like specifically say light this candle as opposed to just saying fire.
Oh, it's like a dumb enchantment to put on a sword. You should have thought it out more.
Kind of, but like it wasn't like intentional.
Yeah.
It just happened because he's the chosen protagonist.
I remember that sword being super cool. Like when I was reading the book oh man, that was like elementary. That was so long ago when those came out. But honestly, if I had to choose one sword just to have, I think it would have to be one of Zoro's katana. Like I just love he has like one that's all black now from like later into the story. I love that. Like a nice heavy looking katana. That would be my choice.
Or Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber is my favorite as well.
Oh, do you have a favorite lightsaber hilt, Luca?
Hilt, I don't know them that well. The only one that's like, as soon as you said favorite lightsaber hilt, it was like Count Dooku's curved hilt.
Oh, yeah. See, okay, so this is why I think lightsabers make such cool props, is because they're all a little bit different
Yeah.
and distinct. There's a really cool episode of the Clone Wars animated series where you see how Jedi make their lightsabers. They go to this planet called Ilum. It's this ice planet, and you're sort of sent into like this cave. And this cave has like a waterfall in front of it, and at a certain time of day it'll freeze. But as the sun comes up, the waterfall melts, and so you can gain access into the cave, and that's where the lightsaber crystals are. But they're not like in a convenient spot. You have to like go in there and like face some sort of trial, and the crystal will present itself to you through the Force. But you have to get out before the ice freezes. So it's like a time thing. And like, I'm pretty sure there's some younglings that have just like never come out of there. And like, they weren't ready, I guess. So,
that actually, the whole process makes a significant part of Jedi Fallen Order. Like PlayStation 4
absolutely.
game.
Yeah, you go to that planet, but it's been sort of annexed by the Empire, and they're mining it.
Yeah. Have you guys ever played it?
Yeah, I have.
I haven't.
Oh yeah. Okay, I don't want to say spoilers though, but I loved it because of just like the main character's realization about himself and stuff.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah. And so like the way that sort of looks in the animated series is pretty similar to how it plays out in the game. So definitely check out that episode. But after you've got your crystal, you still have to like put your lightsaber together hands free. So you get all these pieces like the igniter, the shaft, the whatever, the guard, and you like float it above yourself. So you've probably seen like art of like a Jedi meditating and then like all these lightsaber pieces in front of them with the crystal in the middle. That's sort of what that speaks to, is like you have to put your lightsaber together in that way. And if it's done wrong, like it might just fucking explode on you. But yeah, it's really cool that like everybody has their own sort of journey to it.
I love that.
Things like Count Dooku's, where it's like it speaks to like this sort of regal like countenance he has. And there's a Wookiee in the animated show where like his lightsaber is made out of wood, specifically from like the big trees on Kashyyyk. My favorite would probably be like maybe like Obi-Wan's first one with the ball at the end, and it's really cool. Like it's got if you've ever held it, it's got like a weird weight to it because it has like that club at the end of it. It's just like, it's nice.
I've always loved Qui-Gon's because of just like the simplicity, but also, which is kind of funny because I said fuck minimalism earlier. But
except for swords.
But I also like, I've always liked like larger handles. Sounds kind of weird, but like, I mean, like even like my hockey sticks, every single one I've ever owned, like I always like add way more tape than most people do. It's just because I don't know, extra grip.
Yeah.
Or what about Guts's sword in Berserk?
I'm a pretty big sucker
Slayer.
for giant
sword.
Yeah.
And like it's such a cool mechanism where he has like a magnet on his back to like take it off.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's
the
cool.
clang.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. Are you guys bothered by the historical inaccuracy of swords on the back? Because like
ever since I found out about it, I am.
Me too, man. Because like it's super impractical, and I always thought it was cool, like Link, just shing, and like, but even if when you try to do it, it's fucking unwieldy, man. I saw this guy. There's a YouTuber named Shadified, I think. And he sort of like disproves the theory that this is possible by making this scabbard where it would be possible. And it's so
you could like pull it out from the side or something like that.
But I don't know. Will, does that bother you?
It depends, I guess.
Because
I'm
like
just-
Geralt in the games has the swords come
Dude.
out like at the bottom, right?
No,
Or
he
are they
takes
at
them off
both?
his back, but like
Yeah.
every time you take them off, he like smacks the bottom of the hilt to like make
Yeah.
it sort of horizontal. Then he pulls it off, and like even when he puts them
Oh.
back, like every time he hits them to like change the angle,
Oh,
so it
yeah.
like kind of like glosses over the impossibility of that. But like even that would not be possible.
Man,
Right.
like my mind was blown the first time I saw that.
Yeah.
Like that detail.
Yeah, that was
was-
super cool.
Yeah. Because like
Yeah,
again, you
I-
never see that.
When I was like, playing Zelda as a kid, but even like the newer ones that have come out, when you take the sword off the back, it just sort of like you go up to here and then like the sword's out.
Yeah.
It doesn't like it glosses over it. Yeah.
Oh, another. I want the Leviathan axe.
Oh, I actually have downloaded some 3D prints. So,
Ooh.
yeah, that could be in the cards. We've been talking about doing a show, post-pandemic, called Hordes of Lore. And so when we get around to doing that, then I'll show off my whole prop collection, because it's more extensive than the few items I've brought today. But
Oh yes.
yeah, we'll save some of those goodies for later. If you could have one thing, so not specifically a sword, but one specific item from a movie, and its in-universe functionality comes with it, what would you choose?
Ooh. Oh man, that is so difficult. See, now I want something that like has functionality. It's like a sword, just a sword.
Yeah.
Hmm. I might honestly pick a devil fruit from One Piece.
Oh.
Like if I could get the power of one of the fruits, I think I might choose that. You would lose the ability to swim, which would suck. But I think like ever since I saw that anime, that was like the second anime that I watched like start to finish. I mean, it's not finished yet, but like start to catching up.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw the devil fruit like magic system where you like eat a fruit, you gain that power, lose the ability to swim. Like I was like, that's so cool. I love that like magic system. I think it would have to be maybe the main villain of the show has like a dark fruit. I mean, they all have like the two English names, but the dark fruit, like that is just such a cool power. I mean, you guys haven't seen One Piece, but trust me, it's cool.
Your word for it.
Will, what about you?
Favorite prop?
Like if you could pick something from
IRL.
yeah, and then you get its actual functionality in the real world, what would you pick? I want to say like the Tartarus. Although I'm not very familiar with Doctor Who, the capabilities of that thing, I think would probably be the best. Or maybe like the skeleton key. Something like that.
From Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say probably Dragon Ball.
Dragon
Just
Ball.
one single. I can get you one for like $25.
Just like a single one. No, I mean like to have like the actual powers. So then if I have one, nobody else will have it.
Yeah, but then there's only one. You need all 7 to even do it.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I just don't want other people to have wishes.
Fair enough.
Damn.
Oh, okay. I'll throw it over to you now.
Its IRL capabilities are just nothing. It's just a giant marble.
Just the sick joy of knowing everyone else is just as unhappy as I am.
Yeah, because I mean, like realistically, the only person that can find it is like Bulma with her compass. But like, if she just shows up, I'll just break the compass.
Man, what?
and then just like I don't know, put it in a hole in my backyard or something.
Why?
Nobody else can have wishes. And if you watch GT, you know what happens if too many wishes are made. So
What happens?
That's not canon.
in my canon, the series ended after GT, man.
Fair enough. I knew Oilers won the cup in 06. Let's
Yeah.
move on here.